It's met.
So this is for the MAGAs. If you're not MAGA, keep scrolling. I just have one question. When you elected a guy who was running on this, like, turn it back to the states, it should be the state's responsibility, we're going to dismantle the Department of Education, turn it back to the states rights guy, right? Did at any point he say he was going to lower our federal taxes?
Hi everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back again to another episode. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Guys, you are going to be checking out this video.
The US economy's downfall is straight up going to be the fact that they spread Americans too thin financially. And what I mean by that, there are so many different subscriptions. You used to just be able to pay for cable for TV. I'm sure you can do that. I don't know, but we all have Hulu, Amazon Prime, like video, whatever. All of those things, Max. There's so YouTube TV. There's so many things that you separately have to pay for memberships for. And then you have the credit card payments. You have the home loan payments. You got the utility, the car payments, the car insurance, the life insurance if you have it, the health insurance, the dental insurance, the eye insurance. Not only that, they made it so accessible to borrow money, so accessible, so people could spread themselves even more thin, because you're spread thin already paying for all those things. Now spread yourselves even more thin by paying for all those things with debt, which in the long run is going to cost you more money. I've owned my home. Well, I guess technically not, because I'm paying for that too. But anyways, for the last month almost, February 1st is when I closed on. And when I tell you the amount of people that have come to my door, the Vivint guy, the pest control guy, the landscaper guy, not even like landscape, I mean, they just want to do my yard because it's unfinished, the water filtration guy. And you know what all of these 3 people have told me? There's financing, there's payment plans for this stuff. And I didn't even ask. Like, every time I'm like, no, I'm a no payment plan kind of girly. If I get any of this stuff, it's because I'm paying cash for it. I'm not going to allow myself to be spread even more thin. And I've done a pretty good job. Like, I'm not spread super thin because I'm like, I don't want all these payments. Like, I think every single month I have about 12 bills, which really like isn't crazy. Honestly, it's pretty super minimal compared to the ones that I've seen. But I'm telling you, they all were like, we have finance. And like my backyard, so I just gotta quote my backyard, freaking expensive as shit, $30,000. Well, I guess it is the backyard and the front yard to do like turf and a pergola. Okay, $30,000, so much money. Of course he's going through the financing. I'm like, no, this is getting paid for in cash. Like, I'm not financing my backyard. And I'm like, if I finance it, this $30,000 yard turns into a $40,000 yard. And you know that. And he's like, yeah, it does. And he even like told me something I already kind of knew, which was, he's like, we never get cash customers ever. Everyone finances it. Don't even get me started on like the Apple data subscription or the Aura Ring subscription. I don't have one, but I've been seeing that in people's budget. Now think of everything that I just named and then add like things like Affirm, Afterpay, that stuff to it. I do not believe in those things. I think that they are horrible, but a lot of people do participate in them. Add those payments to it. Personally, I just don't. I mean, corporate greed, that's how we got to this point. But I'm like, I don't understand how we got to this point, but that's exactly how. When our parents were like paying bills, I'm not even kidding you, they probably had like 8-10 bills a month. I've seen people with like 45 bills a month. And they play a mind game on everybody by just being like, oh, like it's a payment, it's a small payment. Oh, it's a $10 Netflix subscription. It's $15 HBO Max subscription. It's a $5 Aura Ring subscription. Aura Ring, okay? Tomato. And honestly, a lot of people don't keep track of their bills or really budget their money. So like, oh, $5 here, $10 there, $15 here, another $5, another $10. They don't realize how fast that adds up, but it adds up so fast. And the only way that it's all gonna stop is if we stop. Like, if we all just hit cancel on all those Netflix memberships, or cancel on the HBO Max, or cancel on all of it. Guess what? Corporations cannot survive without us. But the reason they are surviving is because they're spreading everyone too thin and then making credit so accessible for them to like just pay for all these things. And it's exhausting. It is so damn exhausting. And that has come from someone who has like done very well financially, started her own business talking about this stuff financially, works a corporate job, makes plenty of money. I have figured it out personally, but it's just like me sitting back and observing everything and everyone. It's like, there's no way that the economy can go like this forever. Like, there's absolutely no way. There's no way, because there's to a point where people can no longer afford it whatsoever. Anyway, it's just so frustrating. And the only way to get it to stop is if, unfortunately, we all stop. And most people aren't going to stop unless they're forced to stop because, you know, their debt to income ratio is too high. They can't get another line of credit. Like, they will be forced to stop. People won't stop because, you know, they see an issue with it. They have to be.
Hey, bestie. So now that Trump is elected, we're about to head into a recession. So just buckle up, and here's what you need to know. And if you guys are new here, I'm Theonie the Lender. I've been a lender for 9 years now, and I help people every single day buy and refinance a house. Okay, so here's what's been going on. The last couple of months have been absolutely insanity with these mortgage rates. They were literally at the lowest level that we've seen in 2 years back in August, and then they spiked right back into the sevens a couple weeks ago. So what's been happening is that there's all these data reports that are coming out showing a really strong economy, and the stronger the economy, the higher these rates go. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, like, Theoni, what freaking strong economy? And I'm with you on that. There are people that are making the most amount of money that they have ever made and still cannot buy groceries and are still just living paycheck to paycheck. And the idea of buying a house to them is like so far out of reach. So here's what's about to happen. All these reports that have been coming out showing a really strong economy, I think it's because we were in election year. And so every report that was coming out was trying to showcase a better economy than it really was. For example, the jobs report a couple months back showed that we added so many jobs, but they didn't account that most of those jobs were part-time jobs. They were in addition to people's full-time jobs. However, the economists only saw this as, oh, we added more jobs, so now we have a super strong economy. We're about to see reports come out showing the actual levels of unemployment. And as these things get worse, as unemployment rises and people start to lose their jobs and the economy does actually weaken because it is not as strong as it's depicted, the interest rates will go back down for housing. And now that Trump has entered office, they're going to try to blame it on him, and they're going to full on focus on this terrible bad economy and this huge recession that we've already been in, but nobody said that yet. They're going to highlight that, making the mortgage rates drop. So this is good news if you are in the market to buy a house in the next 12 to 24 months. But things are going to get worse and sound a lot worse because the real reports were making it seem like we were in a stronger economy than we really were. So if you're looking to buy a house in the next 12 months, this is a very crucial time to get ready and just make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, because once those rates start dropping again, there's going to be so many more people that can afford that same house that you're looking at today at no competition. You're going to have competition, which is going to drive the housing prices right back up. And I am accepting new clients for next year, so head over to the link in my bio to get started and follow me along.
Guys, like, people are actually disappointed. A lot of people are very much disappointed because this is not what they voted for. This is not what they told them before the election, because a lot of people actually voted hoping that the price of grocery shopping would be lower and taxes. And guys, what they are seeing now is different from what they were being told. There are a lot of commentaries where a lot of people say that they want a new election, that they don't want to go for this particular one again. Well, guys, let me know what are your points in the comment section.
So I think we can all agree at this point that the US is in serious decline. I've talked about it from the standpoint of education. I've talked about it from the standpoint of economy. You could talk about it from the standpoint of just about any way that we meet people's needs in this country. People are not getting their needs met. It's hard to say when this decline started. I think you could say that we elected a right-wing demagogue, which is what countries in decline do. And I've been pretty clear since about last summer or so that my continuing to stay in this country is a choice to go through a very difficult time in history. And I also understand that the choice to stay is itself very privileged. And I guess I'm making this video partly as a caution and partly as a call to action. As a country declines, there is this pattern of insane concentration of wealth, and those who own the wealth start to engage in a lot of corruption in order to keep the wealth going. And where there once was order and maybe some facade that there was not that much corruption, that is all gone, and the people who are in the middle and the upper middle economically start to get swallowed up by the wealth inequality. And the typical reaction of people who are supposed to have privilege in the society is that they will fight very hard to maintain that position. And so my caution is to let you know that we are not at that place in history where we elect a different representative. We're at that part of history where we rewrite the way that government works, the way that education works, the way that economy works. It's a much bigger change.
We're waiting and holding on while this current thing crumbles. We're not building anything. And for those of us who are more privileged, it is time for us to let go of our privilege and some belief that we are supposed to have more money than the people who are marginalized in our society. One of the ways that marketing gets at us is that it throws the wealth inequality in our face and tells us that we need to pretend that we have more money than we have. And most people are just going around pretending that they are in okay financial.
Are you thinking about stocking up before Trump's tariffs drive up the price? Here are some everyday items that might be in danger of higher prices. So if you've noticed the price of things going up lately, you might want to brace yourself for even higher costs. President-elect Donald Trump has proposed a new set of tariffs that could affect everything from electronics to food. But what exactly are tariffs and how will they impact your wallet? Let's break it down. Simply put, a tariff is a tax on imported goods. When goods come into the United States from another country, the government charges a tariff to make them more expensive. This is meant to encourage people to buy goods made in the United States instead, which does help local businesses but can make imported items cost more for consumers. Trump has proposed a broad tariff plan that includes a 10 to 20% tariff on all imported goods from other countries, a 60% to 100% tariff on goods imported from China. These tariffs are part of his strategy to reduce the U.S. trade deficit and encourage companies to bring more production back to the United States. The tariffs would impact a wide variety of products, including many everyday items that you might use. Here's a breakdown by category to help you better understand. Electronics, such as gaming laptops, prices could increase by up to 45%. If you're thinking of buying one soon, it could go from $1,000 to $1,450. Gaming consoles, expect a 40% price increase as many of the consoles are made in China. Monitors, prices could rise by about 31%. Clothing and textiles are included too. Clothes and shoes. Many clothing brands import from overseas, and these tariffs could cause prices to go up by 10% to 25%. Jeans, t-shirts, and sneakers, popular items in everyday clothing, could get more expensive. Household goods like furniture that is imported could see a price hike of up to 20%. Appliances, so items like refrigerators, washing machines, and microwaves may also rise in price due to higher tariffs on metals and electronic components. Food and beverages imported. If you're a fan of exotic fruits or snacks from abroad, be prepared for price increases due to tariffs on imports, especially if the goods are coming from China. So canned foods and beverages are included as well. Imported beverages and canned food might also cost more. Depending on the item, consumers can see prices increase anywhere from 10% to 45%. For electronics like gaming laptops and consoles, this means a jump in price by hundreds of dollars. For everyday goods like clothing and household items, expect a smaller increase, but still noticeable. At first glance, tariffs may seem like a way to bring more money into the United States, but they also have a downside. With higher tariffs, consumers will face higher prices on many products. For the average family, this could mean paying more for things that they need and want, whether it's a new laptop, some fresh fruit, or even a new pair of shoes. The extra costs could add up quickly, making it harder for working class families to budget and save. And here's where the irony comes in, right? Many people voted for President-elect Trump in the hopes of lowering prices on everyday items. But with these proposed tariffs, those same voters might soon find themselves paying way more for the very products that they rely on. The promise of lower costs might seem to be backfiring, as the tariffs could have the opposite effect and leave many consumers with higher bills. So, now that you know what could go.
Donald Trump is proposing we eliminate the income tax and replace it with tariffs. Regardless of your political views, we need to drop politics for a second. From an economics point of view, this is a terrible, economically illiterate policy. Reason number one, out of all taxes that have ever existed ever, tariffs are the least popular among most economists. It hurts every party involved. It hurts the consumer, and we are all consumers. It grinds international trade to a slowing halt. It is consensus in the field of capitalist economics that trade is vital for the world. Reason number two, income taxes are the United States government's biggest source of revenue, and tariffs are a very small part of it. So to make up for that budget shortfall, we'd have to raise tariffs even higher than they already are. That would be disastrous for our internal economy and the global economy. Now I'm gonna bring politics back into it. Republicans philosophically hate the income tax, and I get that. But they also pride themselves in being the party that understands economics. The field of economics is mainly concerned with efficiency. This is not an understatement. If you support eliminating the income tax and replacing it with the least efficient tax ever, you don't understand economics. Or maybe you do, you just care about putting Trump in more. It's very hyperbolic when both sides say if the guy I disagree with gets into office, the economy's screwed. I'm saying this right now. If Trump gets into office and successfully implements this policy, the economy is.
The other are across the board tariffs, where Trump says, you, China, I'm adding 10% or 20% or 60% tariffs. He never says which is which, right? He just says, I'm adding tariffs. So Walmart imports 80% of their products. And so Walmart is buying from China, paying in dollars and saying, I'm paying $1 for that widget.
Sure.
And that dollar comes in and it's $1 right now and that's it. Walmart marks it up and sells the widget at Walmart. Tariffs, it comes in, it gets to the United States. When it comes across the border, there's a 10% tariffs. The Border Patrol says, there's a 10% tariff on it. Walmart, you have to pay 10% of that dollar. You have to pay me a dime for every one of these widgets that come in. Walmart has a choice. They can either eat that dime or they pass it on. Now imagine, then he goes to John Deere and he says, if you're thinking about moving any of your manufacturing to Mexico, even though he signed this thing called the USMCA, which allows you to move some of your manufacturing to Mexico. He signed it, he created it, but put that aside. He says to them, okay, we're going to give you a 200% tariff for anything that you make that you then import. Tractors, let's say. So think about
That's if John Deere moved their factories to another country.
Even just a portion of them.
Got it.
Right.
No. So he's basically saying, don't leave.
Don't leave.
US.
Don't leave. But it's not that easy.
Yeah.
So whoever imports it has to write the check.
Got it.
So when Trump says China is paying for it, no.
Guys, I think we should actually wait for Trump because before the election, I watched several videos where he said that he was going to reduce the price of grocery shopping. And what a lot of people are seeing now and hearing now is not what he said. I think we should give him a little time. Maybe when he finally swear in, maybe he will he will do some of those things that he promised that actually make people to vote for him, because a lot of people actually voted for him thinking that the price of grocery shopping was going to be lower and taxes. That was the reason why a lot of people actually voted for him, and what they are seeing now and what they are hearing now is different from what they were being told. So I think maybe when he finally get to that place, maybe he will do some of these things that he promised you, right? Because the way things are going, the way price of grocery shopping, inflation, so many things, everything have just changed, and a lot of people actually came out and even asked for a new election. Some say that they want to that they want them to cancel this particular election and organize another new one so that they can make the right choice and right decision, because the magas, like, they are regretting right now and they don't know, so they don't know what to do. Well, guys, let me know what are your points in the comment section. What do you think about this video? Let's keep that conversation going. Okay, what do you think? I will see you all in my next episode. Bye.